Zootopia has conquered the box office all over the world, but in particular, China. And now, many people are beginning to wonder, will Disney dive into a decade of sequels, expansions, and shorts? Will it cause Disney Plus to suddenly thrive? Will it help keep the parks alive? Hello and welcome back. It is a pleasure, as always, to have you here on That Park Place, where we cover, of course, theme park news. Zootopia is so much more than that. And perhaps the execs at Disney are wondering why they did Zoogether. Why didn't they just do a full-blown new land at Animal Kingdom? And they might be planning to do that all over the world. We'll tell you why we think you're about to face absurd levels of Judy and Nick. And it's going to be for the next 10 years at least.
That Park Place Zootopia 2 rockets past $500 million thanks to explosive Chinese box office opening. And this by Marvin Montanaro, December 1st, 2025. Disney has finally landed a certifiable global animated hit in 2025, and it comes from a franchise many assumed had been dormant too long to matter. Zootopia 2 has erupted across the international marketplace, with the opening holiday 5-day weekend box office surging past the $500 million mark, thanks primarily to China's astounding turnout. The sequel launched with an enormous $272 million 5-day opening in China alone, instantly ranking as the second biggest U.S. film ever to debut in the country, trailing only behind Avengers Endgame. The success didn't stop there, however. Local box office tracker Man Now projects that Zootopia 2 could ultimately earn $590 million in China alone by the end of its run. That number would make the film one of the most successful imported releases in the history of the Chinese marketplace and cements the country as the driving force behind the sequel's historic worldwide start. You know what's very interesting about this story right here is that China had previously not supported any Disney film, or really any other film for that matter. I believe what is that Chinese animated film that actually came out?
Nezha
2.
It sounds like medication for your sinuses, but whatever.
That was a lone standout, right? Other than that, I mean, the international box office had really dropped off, but most profoundly in the region of China right there. So when I look at something like this, I go, wow, this is absolutely astounding. We don't have the updated numbers from the numbers just yet when it comes to international box office. But how this graph actually looks right there, yeah, I see this as staying consistent. For some reason, when it comes to the animal films, China really does support something like Zootopia, and that's probably why the only Zootopia really for real attraction that we've seen come out of the Walt Disney Company has been for Shanghai Disneyland. Guys, your thoughts on the wild success of Zootopia 2, not just domestic, but international?
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm gonna say something controversial that everybody out there needs to know, okay? Pay close attention, take notes, drive-by journalists. Zootopia is now the most important intellectual property that Disney owns. It's bigger than Star Wars. It's bigger than Marvel. It's bigger than Lilo and Stitch, and there's a reason why. Now, domestically, not the case, right? You all know that. Domestically, Frozen's probably bigger. Moana's probably bigger. But when we're talking about what matters to Disney long-term and to Bob Iger's legacy, there is nothing that is remotely similar in terms of import as Zootopia, because what we just discovered is that China is gaga over this thing in a way that Disney has not seen since Avengers Endgame, and it actually is bigger than that. So for Bob Iger and for Disney to get back into China, to have their China chance return to them once again, what do they have to do? They have to rush out Zootopia as fast and as hard as they can. Now, people are going to say, "Bro, you didn't see this coming." And I would say to you, well, I saw a huge victory coming. I just didn't see this thing passing 200 million in its opening week at China, because that seemed almost impossible. Well, it's happened. And if I'm Bob Iger and if I'm the Walt Disney Company and I see this, I believe that literally today there are meetings happening. And I believe that over the next month that Disney is likely to gather up all their peeps and say, okay, how did this happen? What can we do to replicate it? Is it transferable to other franchises? And I think over the next month, they're going to gather that data and they're going all in on whatever the strategy was that made this win in China. I furthermore believe, based on people that what they've told me, but we're in a little bit of rumor territory here, I believe that Disney is very likely already in development of Zootopia 3. I think it's going to be the little animal, the animal that we're going to be with that one is going to be birds. I think that Disney is likely to go into development of Zootopia 4 and 5. And I think that 4, based on people I've spoken with, probably going to be about fish. Don't know about 5, but I'm telling you right now, this is going to be an all-in effort from Disney to capitalize on this, because this is their way to get back into China and to have a chance there. And they thought they were done. They thought they were toast. Hollywood thought they were toast. You've got Nancy Tartaglione out of Deadline still says there's no way. They're still toast. Hollywood cannot get into China. But Disney can. And they can with Zootopia. It's their most important intellectual property now. You may agree with it. You may disagree with it. You may say that this is a bad decision, bad way for them. Doesn't matter. This is what they're going to do.
I was going to respond to the idea here that this is more important than Avatar. And there's a very specific reason for that. If you look at the Disney financial statements, and I don't want to go too nerdy here, but they have actually said that in this quarter, they were expecting a $400 million unfavorable swing this year versus last year. And last year it was Mufasa and Moana 2, which they own Mufasa and Moana 2. They don't own Avatar. They distribute Avatar. And James Cameron takes the lion's share. Get the joke of Avatar. So with Zootopia, they own it outright, and that's not a question. So they take home a majority of their split of the revenue there. With this one, $200 million from China, I think they take home I want to say less than 85 million of that $200 million opening, probably even less than that, probably more around the $50 million. So they like Zootopia 2 because it's a big headline number. And the big secret with Disney is they make no money on their movies, essentially. They want to look like they make money on their movies, but they're essentially an ad for the theme parks and the flywheel and the merchandise operations. And Avatar is not a huge merchandising operation here in the United States. It might be in China. They might have naked blue people figures that are selling really hot over there in China. I don't know. But Zootopia is something that is an endless supply of plushies. They'll do every single animal that they can do, and then they'll do holiday costumes, and they'll do their big summer vacation and the winter wear line. This is something with unlimited merchandising potential. And very little to have to be adapted for each individual market. So this is a huge win for Disney.
MJ, I see this going into expansion territory at the parks. I would be surprised at this point if we don't see this in Abu Dhabi, for example, when they build it. I would be surprised if this does not go to Disneyland Paris Resort. I think Zootopia is the key that Disney believes now will bring them victory. What do you think, and what would you expect to see over time from this film that could cross the $2 billion mark if China keeps this up?
I agree with you 100% on that. I'm really glad that this outdid Wicked. I'm sorry. This makes me really happy. We liked the first one, and I'm so glad that there's no, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no woke stuff in this. That's probably why parents took their kids and it did so well. I totally see it being a little, having a world of its own in Abu Dhabi. Gentlemen, where is the current Zootopia land? Is that Shanghai? That's not
Shanghai.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, it would be nice to see some of that over here on the west side of the world.
Together, is it enough for you, MJ? You're not satisfied fully with Zootopia at Animal Kingdom?
Oh gosh, let's not even go there. That thing does not belong in the Tree of Life. It's offensive, and it just like
poo ball in there though. Poo. It's bother.
That's disgusting. And the fact that during the show they spit on you, it's like, really, Disney? And it just keeps going on, like from what I've heard. It's
a metaphor, MJ. It's a metaphor for how Disney really feels about you.
Yeah, exactly. Here to all the influencers. Yeah. No,
so
I'm excited to see what else they're gonna do. Maybe they'll move it out of the Tree of Life. Maybe they'll do something else in a couple of years. I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, that can't stay in the Tree of Life. It's not. I give it 5 years tops.
Well, whatever replaces it will be Zootopia, because this is the thing. I mean, this is what This is what Bob Iger has been dreaming of for a decade, ever since China said, nah, we're done with you, Hollywood.
I mean,
And here's the other thing too, Jonas.
yeah.
They scrubbed everything offensive and woke about, all of that's gone. And I wonder if now the message has gone out. You have to be squeaky clean. You got to go back to the G-rated stuff we used to do back in the late 90s, early 2000s, because we're going after China. And this is what China wants. They don't want the stuff that's alluring to the coastal elite. This is what Disney's going to be about.
I think they have an amazing opportunity here with their worst theme park outside of Walt Disney Studios Park out there in Paris. Disney's Animal Kingdom is a park that struggles, and we talk about that often. I mean, often. If this is the biggest thing, then they are probably having meetings this week to talk about how to make this the Fab Five of the Disney's Animal Kingdom park right here. You're going to see Zootopia characters in every single part of that park if Disney is smart. So instead of ripping apart their popular parks, maybe they need to be putting more work into Disney's Animal Kingdom and not just stop at Topical America's Land.
That's a good point.
Yes. I'm really we were talking about this the other day, Vash, on T3PO. I'm really shocked that they're going to have Encanto ride and all that. They should really have this over there somewhere,
that was the initial plan. I think when it was D23 2022 was when they initially came forward with the whole what if side of the equation, in which it was like, what if we did a Moana land? What would that actually look like? Here's what it would look like in Animal Kingdom. And then far off in the distance, you actually see art depicting Zootopia. It's a different flavor from Shanghai, but you can definitely see that I think it's Hot Pursuit is what they call that e-ticket attraction over there at Shanghai Disneyland. That was going to make its way over to Animal Kingdom, or at least I believe conceptually it was. They didn't actually go forward with it. And MJ, to your point, that's probably what they should have done, because as good as maybe some of the music from Encanto has played on radio and so forth, and how much of a cultural impact that actually has, I don't think the box office potential from an Encanto 2 can do anything close to a Zootopia 2, especially in China. And when it comes to international visitation, that's something that Walt Disney World desperately needs, as we'll highlight in future stories.
Well, as we're getting ready to wrap up this particular conversation, I just want to add to this. How much must Disney be kicking themselves that they went with Monsters, Inc. for Hollywood Studios? And if they had just waited a little bit, it's totally obvious that Zootopia was the answer for for that going in there. And that would be a massive crowd driver in a way that Monsters has no relevancy. So, but you're going to get Hot Pursuit in California. You're going to get Hot Pursuit in Europe. You're going to get Hot Pursuit in the Middle East. And I'm not talking about the temperature there. Zootopia is Bob Iger's baby now, and it's his legacy. And they're going all in on Judy, Nick, and the friendly snake named Gary.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.